bring the lamp. You've been to the refinery, have you not?
I don't believe I have. Is it connected to the... what did you call it?
The inner sanctum. My most precious chamber, Daniel. And it lies well beyond the refinery. In fact, it lies beneath the very stone of Brennenburg.
Looks like it's working. I managed to dig up one thing loose. This Alexander's got kind of a nifty voice, don't you think? Almost something similar to mine. I will say one thing for this castle. Alexander has some good taste. I still wonder why you would have to kill him, though. At least even enough to make yourself forget why you would want to. Must be something pretty terrible. All I can guess is he's either done something really bad or something absolutely... Ooh, isn't that something? You're not gonna follow the scary voice? Reminds me of what I told you a minute ago whenever I said you was a doggone pussy. You're quite a scaredy cat, you know that? Something that's also interesting me. Was it just you and Alexander here sharing this castle? Does that mean that you both are... well, I'm not going to go down that road, so...
16th of May, 1839. The unflinching African sun has continued to plague our expedition, making it impossible to dig until dusk. How Professor Herbert managed to find the location in these vast plains of nothingness remains a mystery to me. When I asked him about the tomb again, he told me about the legend of Tin Hanan, the mother of us all. An interesting story in its own right, but I can't help feeling there's more. Later that evening, we uncovered a passage beneath the dunes leading to a sand-covered stone structure. The professor was confident it was the tomb we sought and ordered the others to clear the way late into the dark, cold night. Tomorrow, I shall lead the men into the ancient structure, hoping to reach the burial chamber. No matter what the professor is keeping from me, the dig should yield something interesting to take back to London and the British Museum.
Oh, you're somebody smart, huh? You're one of them smart-assy little museum types, I'm guess. Yeah, just keep pulling the lantern out and making yourself feel all safe and wonderful. You are definitely one of those kids that was scared of his closet being open when he went to bed. Ooh, that was a creepy sound. But of course, you're gonna stray away from it, aren't ya?
17th of May, 1839. My hands tremble as I write. I feel a need to document my tribulation, for I fear that my memory will fail me if I linger. Today, I took some men and ventured into the dark, ancient passage we uncovered. Our torches burned faintly in the murky air as we slowly made our way underground. The men were superstitious and fearful. They argued loudly, and I felt their strange language getting to me. I mustered my strength and yelled at them to continue down the slopes and broken steps. The crudely carved passage confused me. It looked much older than the 4th century structure we had expected. The twisting path emerged into a great antechamber. The walls were lined with statues unlike any I'd ever seen. Despite their unearthly quality, I felt a strange familiarity toward them, which haunts me still. At the far end of the chamber, a great slab of stone sealed off whatever lay ahead. I gave the order to raise it, and as I pushed through the narrow space, the heavy stone suddenly dropped, sealing me inside. I was trapped.
It looks like you were quite the idiot as well. I don't really know what to really rate you as yet. About each time you get anything back or I find anything back, you just seem like somebody completely random to me. Really? You're gonna start shaking over a book that fell off the shelf? I know the sound was a little off, but what's the use in even calling you a coward anymore? Tell you what, since you and me are going to be stuck together for a while, maybe you should tell. I would be glad to hear a little bit about yourself. The problem is you don't know. You're really surprising me right now because you're actually heading towards the voice and the weird sounds that are happening. Maybe you're not such a coward after all. I will say one thing though, you're smarter than other people that I've had to deal with. I've not seen really too many people that were smart enough to actually look around the room instead of just taking a single peek.
Much of the castle is old and hasn't been tended to for centuries. When the shadow arrives, it won't take long until things start falling apart.
We're just buying time anyway. Let's do what we can.
There isn't much to be done about the walls. We should reinforce weak structures. The ground will tremble and there's a risk everything will cave in on us, especially downstairs. Here, and there. Let's get the servants working on it.
Well, I figure we've started to learn a little bit more about this shadow. Sounds creepy enough, but, you know, the idea that I am low. Maybe you should go check what that was. Well, you're not going back anytime soon. As I was saying, though, it'd be kind of a nice situation if the fact was, you know, that I'm not connected to you. This shadow thing being after you and all kind of puts me in the feeling that I'm at risk myself. So take it this way, for both our sakes, keep yourself alive, would ya? Ah, you just screwed up.
17th of May, 1839. After pounding the unforgiving stone wall for what seemed like an eternity, I realized it was hopeless. I was trapped. I fell to the ground, gasping for air, trying to focus. That's when I saw a faint blue shimmer. My weakened body was heavy to carry, but I managed to push myself toward the enchanting light. It was waiting for me. Enclosed in dark nothingness, I felt myself drawn to the mystic light. I reached out, closing it in my hands. The faint glow escaped my fingers and began to spark brightly and spirit me away, unlocking alien memories of spiraling towers, endless deserts, and impossible geometry. The next thing I can remember is the grating sound of stone being lifted, the voices of the Arabs pulling me to safety, and grasped firmly in my hands was the broken pieces of a most peculiar relic.
Well, I guess it's time for me to be a little more truthful with you then. Seems my lie has already been taken down. Yes, I'm not actually.
You have to be swift when you activate the first one. You hear that? If it stops, you'll have to start over.
Isn't all this a bit excessive?
You can never be too careful, Daniel.
In reality, I was more of a, I was always punished in... Wait a second. Were you not paying attention? Doggone it, Daniel. You're gonna have to make me start all over again, aren't you? Well... Well, in reality, since you saw that vision, I gotta tell you the truth. Would seem that I'm more of something that attached to you whenever you touched that orb. Had been asleep for a long time, and whenever you touched it, I kinda woke up and panicked a little, so I grabbed a hold of the first thing I could think of, and apparently it was your tiny head. Ooh, you are a smart one. Not much of conversation, but yes, I'll admit, you got brains in this head of yours. Uh-oh. Better find a place to hide. I'm guessing so far that we're soon to find out that we aren't the only inhabitants in the castle. It's not that shadow, is it? You be real careful. I don't want to end up being lunch along with you. What the hell was that? Go the other way. Well, that's sealed off. Oh. Yikes! Is it just me, or are you seeing things?